Hey, this is gonna be a little different than my usual videos. I'm not really editing this one. I didn't even plan this, but if this, for whatever reason, just popped up on your feed, don't scroll for a second. Just give me like 20 seconds because I don't think this landed uh, for you by accident. And yeah, I know how that sounds, but if this video showed up for you, you're probably at a very specific point in your life right now. And just think about this for a second. Every single minute, over 500 hours of video gets uploaded on YouTube. That's like over 30 years worth of videos every hour. And somehow you stepped on this one right now. So either that's completely random or there's this reason this is the one you're watching. And usually people don't stop on a video like this unless something's been off lately. Like maybe you've been overthinking way more than usual, or you keep starting things and then a few days later you're back right where you started, or maybe something actually happened, like maybe you lost a job or you got out of a relationship recently. Maybe something didn't even go the way you expected, and now you're just sitting there like, what am I even doing right now, right? Or honestly, maybe nothing bad even happened, but something still feels off. Like you know you have potential, but life doesn't reflect it yet. And if any of that felt a little too accurate, then yeah, this probably showed up at the right time for you. And here's something I didn't understand for a long time. Right before things actually change in your life, it usually feels like everything is falling apart. Like things start going backwards, old problems come back, old habits show up again, situations you thought you moved past, suddenly you're dealing with them again, and it makes you kind of feel like, didn't I already get past this? Right? And this is where most people mess it up because they take that as a sign that nothing's working. So they go back to what's comfortable, their old habits, their old way of thinking, old patterns, and then nothing actually changes. I want you to look at this for a second, okay? Let me put this down real quick, okay? So, look at this for a second. You've probably seen this before, right? This guy right here, he's literally one hit away and he stops. And then this guy, he just keeps going and eventually hits it, right? And the scary part is most people think they're this guy, but in reality, they end up being this one at the bottom. And they don't even realize that, right? And I'm not saying that you're guaranteed some huge outcome. But what I am saying is that moment where it feels like nothing's working, that's usually the moment where your actions matter the most because that's where you decide, are you actually different now or are you gonna go back? And most people, what did they do? Without even realizing it, they just go back. So they think nothing changed, but really they were right there, right before something shifted. So if your life feels a little messy right now, or confusing, or like you're just going backwards, that doesn't always mean you're doing something wrong. It just sometimes it means you're at that point, but only if you don't fall back into the same patterns. And if I'm being real, this is the part nobody talks about. Everyone likes to think and talk about the breakthrough, but nobody talks about what it feels like right before that happens. And it usually doesn't feel good. It feels uncertain, it feels frustrating, it feels nothing's really working, but that's usually the moment where your actions like really matter the most. So if this video felt a little too accurate, don't just watch this and move on. Pay attention to what you do next, because this is actually the moment, or one of those moments, that most people miss it. And if you want me to be honest, I used to think I just needed the right video, like this one's gonna fix it, but nothing changed until I actually changed how I responded to in moments like this, right? So yeah, I don't think you saw this by accident, but if you don't understand what's actually happening right now, you're probably gonna go back to the same patterns again. So I want you to watch this video next, because it explains why feeling stuck right now is actually your advantage. So yeah, I'll see you there.